What's the most disturbing secret you are keeping from your friends and family? My almost ex-husband's mom introduced me to meth, and even though I hated it, I kept doing it because I worked 80-hour weeks trying to keep our family afloat during the pandemic. Husband wasn't working by choice. I hated myself so much, and I hated that I was doing it, but I loved being able to stay awake to do whatever was needing to be done. This went on for about a year. Eventually found out he was cheating on me for a long while, kicked him out, and got together with someone else. He unknowingly got me clean. I've been clean for about 14 months now, and it makes me sick to even type this shit out. The worst choices I've ever made, by far. That I was sexually abused by a family member as a child. Just recently opened up about it to my therapist. Tough going. That when I was in middle school I was groomed by an online predator I met on Omegle. Being a stupid child at the time, I innocently believed I was talking to someone my age and should have seen the red flags when they kept making excuses on why they couldn't send pics or video chat, or talk on the phone for that matter, but had no problem texting and asking me for explicit pictures of myself. My cousin that is 7 years older than me, and I had never met before then, told me that boys his age, 14 at the time, needed to experiment with women, and that I should let him learn and not tell anyone. That an older kid fucked my ass when I was 6 years old, but I don't really give a fuck about it being a secret or not anymore. The people I was hiding it from was my dad and my mother. My mother died, and my dad is a prick and I don't give a fuck about what he thinks. About $40k in debt. My sister used to kiss me with tongues and cuddle me weirdly, and now as an adult thinking back to that I realized that was super fucking weird for her to do, since we are 13 years apart. At minimum she would have been 20 when that happened, and I would have been 7 at least. Nothing else happened, so maybe it was innocent stuff, but IDK, if I was 20 and made out with a 7-year-old sister I'd be in fucking prison. My aging mother is battling cancer. She isn't winning. She has asked me to be power of attorney and the executor of her estate. While going through her legal papers I came across the documents that showed that my sister, we are both in our 50s, is actually only my half-sister. She has a different father. My mom never told anyone. My father has been gone for almost 20 years, and he never said anything either. He stepped up when the real father took off. This was in the 1960s. My sister doesn't know. The only reason I'm still here today is because I forgot to load a round into the chamber of my pistol when I was 18. I pulled the trigger, but thankfully all the rounds were in the clip. It was a huge wake-up call. I'm doing a lot better now. My aunt is my sister. I love my wife's family, but can't really stand my own side of the clan. No specific reason, they just get on me tits. That I want to pick up and move and start over alone, with my dogs, with zero trace. I can't imagine the future. People ask me what my plans are, and I just don't know. I have no chance of making plans. There's just no vision or hope or amount of wishing hard enough to try and plan or predict my own future. I'd rather be dead than have to try to think about where I'll be in 5 years. Maintaining a relationship with them feels like a job. We weren't close when I was young, and now they want to be super close, maybe to make up for lost time, but I got used to being left alone, so now I prefer it that way. That I've had a major increase in suicidal thoughts lately, not going to act on them, but just noticed a major increase. My second tour in Iraq, we were in a nasty firefight when I felt something wet hit the side of my face. I knew the guy next to me had been killed, but I was a little too busy to do anything about it. After it was done, the corpseman came running over making sure I was okay, and I thought it was because I was covered in the guy's blood. Turns out one of the guy's eyes was basically dangling on the side of my helmet. Dunno if it counts as a disturbing secret, but I'm more upset about the slackened expectations on me now than I'm about my brother's death. Sometimes I pretend to be happy around them. My mom killed herself last year. I've been so fucked up over it. I've had to be strong and act like we will get through this for my dad and brothers. I have a 4-year-old and a 4-month-old, and I have been on maternity leave since the end of November. My husband is working night shift, and I'm so fucking lonely. My mom was my best friend and always came over. I sit here most nights either crying or just stuck on the couch feeling like I'm going to die from grief. I recently relapsed. I had been sober for almost 2.5 years from drinking, and I'm a nurse. I feel like I take care of everyone but no one takes care of me. Not so much disturbing, but I absolutely never want them to find out that I'm the one in the family who draws little smiley faces in random spots for everyone to find. Everyone always accuses each other, and of course I play along, but I'm the one who does it lol. Being the oldest of the cousins, and knowing the real family history and secrets, I'd rather let them enjoy life without knowing. Most days I feel like I don't know who I am. I was diagnosed with severe anxiety and depression around 15 years old. I feel like I never got to develop a personality. I've never been able to hold down a job for more than a few months due to my mental health. Sometimes I feel okay, but most of the time I just feel like 3 mental illnesses in a trench coat trying to find my way through life. I cry almost daily because I'm so fucking lonely that I quit college. This is a huge deal since I was in college for 3 years, and now every day is beyond terrifying to me because with each passing day my future is getting closer and I don't know if it's gonna be okay. On at least 3 occasions over the last few decades I have accidentally pooped my pants. I was raped at age 14. Spiked drink at a house party. Woke up naked and bloody in a spare bedroom. Vague memories of a body on me and pain but couldn't move, just slightly aware mentally. Never told anyone until #METOO forced me to deal. Still haven't told my family or most friends. Still don't like to be touched 50/50. I panic attack and flashback while sexually with a partner. I just stopped going to work a month and a half ago. I've been telling them I'm sick while just going full shut in agoraphobe. The bills are going to become a problem soon, but I can't work up the motivation to leave my house yet, but I haven't really talked to anyone about it. Not sure why. I might be gearing up to give up on life altogether. That my grandma's boyfriend touched me inappropriately several times as a child. First time it happened I was 10 and eating at a restaurant with him, my cousin I didn't know well and my grandma. I was shocked and didn't say anything. I punched him the most recent time it happened though. I was 15 and he grabbed me tit, so I punched him hard while he played the victim and said OHH no I mistook it for your hand. On one hand my whole family hates him, but on the other hand my grandmom is very alone, has about 0 friends and I would feel sad for her. My cousin made me touch his penis at my grandma's funeral when I was about 7ish. We had to euthanize our cat because we couldn't afford the medical bill. He was 10 years old and healed poorly from a life-saving surgery to get string removed. He lost so much weight and was on the verge of liver failure. My cat looked like he was in so much pain. My dad, devout Muslim, loved that cat. He wasn't at the vet when this was happening. Since he believes euthanasia is a sin, we told him our cat died during the imaginary operation due to complications. I've never seen him cry so much. I sometimes eat dessert before dinner. Family legend, my grandfather and grandmother fell in love at first sight and courted one another for years before getting married. Reality, they met when my grandfather was on a 2-day pass, fell in love at first sight, and were married by the end of the weekend. Both corroborated this story in separate private interviews I conducted when compiling family history. I've been selling weed for the last 8 years to supplement my income. That I'm indifferent to anything in my life at this point. I have recently started making erotic ink drawings. They have seen suggestive pictures I have made earlier, but now the orifices that are usually covered by clothes are front and center. That I'm on the verge of suicide. Also that I got fired yesterday, I don't need them making the former happen quicker. Also was molested by a family friend for years as a kid. No one needs to know about that though. I honestly always want to post on questions like these, but I chicken out and erase it just in case someone somehow finds out my identity. When I was 5 I let out my sister's hamster Scamps to play, and he crawled off and was found in a mousetrap a few weeks later. Everyone thought it escaped its cage on its own. I escorted 4 years, including my junior and senior years of high school, to pay for college. So many times I would be at a friend's doing schoolwork, but I was with a client, or a few times I told them I was going out of town for the weekend as part of a school club trip, when I was actually being flown to different cities by much older men for the weekend. I even typed up a bullshit permission slip and everything. BTW, I'm aware of how dangerous that was. I do not need a lecture. They think I took out student loans, and I'm still paying them off to this day. I was able to pay for all 4 years by the time I graduated. I know that the reason we moved from our old place was because my dad and his cousin killed some guy and buried him in the yard. When I got older, 15 years later, I reported it into the cops, which resulted in the arrest and conviction of my dad and his cousin. No one knows I was the one that turned them in. I was a coke addict for 6 years. No one but the people I partied/used with knew. Almost 2 years clean. Well, several suicide attempts and mental disorders and love. I attempted suicide like 4 years ago. It's something I'd prefer to keep to myself and haven't told anyone. Thankfully I'm not suicidal anymore, and I'm actually generally happy for the past couple years. But no one knows that happened. And I'm just happy it wasn't successful. I was sexually assaulted by a family friend at the age of 7 in our backyard. I never told my mom, since her stepdad did the same with her, and my granny just ignored it. Would break her heart to know that happened to me too. That my brother coerced me into sexual activity when we was both kids. I'm a guy BTW. Kinda fucks with me ever so often, but never really told anyone as it's hard to bring up. That, when they paid for me to go abroad at 19, first time flying alone and first time traveling out of the country, it wasn't to see a friend I had met in college. I had met a dude online and flew out to meet him IRL about a month and a half later. It's not the smartest thing I've done, but I'd do it again in a heartbeat. That I was raped in my parents' house while I was asleep in bed next to my toddler daughter. I woke up halfway through the act and I couldn't yell or scream because I'd wake my kid. They're selling that house now and moving, and I'm so happy to never have to walk into that place again. That I'm not actually sure if I want to die. I'm going through palliative care routes because I know it is the best option for everyone else, but I'm terrified. I saw mental health today and was told that I'm okay to kill myself because they completely understand why I'd want to. Just sort of proved to me that I'm making the right decision. My mom is married to another guy while still married to my father, and only me and the family knows. My friends know this, but I will never tell my parents. I grow mushrooms for me and my friends to use. I enjoy doing it, and I love tripping. My parents are super conservative Christian type of folks and would probably call the cops on me if they found out. That I have no love for my family for no particular reason. I just never thought they were very interesting or fun to be around. I have blips of repressed memories that I know are bad, whether I did something or it was done to me. I've always refused therapy because I'm genuinely scared of digging it up and finding out, and how embarrassed my family might be of what it is. It's gotta be back there for a reason, and I really don't want to poke around and find out. I hate my family. I'm not busy all the time. I just don't want any kind of contact with them. Even the ones that are nice to me. I was raped multiple times throughout my teens by multiple ex-girlfriends. I've never spoke about it, since the first person I told said I was lying. Men can't be raped by a woman. Heard this from others many times over the years without knowing. I stole $3,000 from my dad when I was 19. He never noticed, but I've been saving for over a year now to pay him back.